in my line of work, kids, he is the best to do it. And you have the privilege and the honor to hear him speak. Without further ado, Mr. Ray Lewis. We call him Uncle Ray Ray.
Wow. How amazing to be here today. So let me talk to you for a minute. All right, everybody listen.
Yes, sir.
Everybody pay attention. I played 17 years. Don't you miss 1 year. And the only other thing I'm going to correct you on is No, absolutely. You know, people ask me this question all the time, right? I travel all the time. Everywhere I go, they always say, I just want to ask you one question. I'm like, well, what's the one question? Like, do you miss it? And I'm like, miss it? And I always respond with this exact same response. I said, if I missed it, I cheated it, right? And if there's one thing I can promise you, Beasley knows what I'm talking about. You don't miss climbing from your bed to the bathroom just to walk to practice, right? So you go through these things, and I tell people now, man, I finished my career the way I envisioned my career finishing. You know, I'm in New Orleans, and what better place would you want to be as a defensive mind, right? You got 4 downs on the 3-yard line. And you're sitting there saying, you've been beating this team by 29, 30 points, and now this team has made their rally, and they're coming back. And I'm looking at each one of my players, and I'm asking each one of my players, I don't need no heroes. I just need everybody to do your job, one play at a time. And if you do that, then I walk away from this game, and I live my life as a champion the rest of my life. And I never forget when that ball, 4th down, and that ball, Kaepernick threw that ball over my head, and I'm looking at this ball go over my head. The first person, it's the craziest thing ever, right? Because the first person that came to my mind was Peyton Manning. Because we had these conversations over and over and over. And one of the interesting things that we started to talk about was, we knew what it was to prepare, to go to the next game, to go to college, to go to high school, to climb the ladder. We knew what that meant. But what we didn't know what it meant, we didn't know what it meant to walk into a new world. A world that didn't have training camps no more. A world that tells me I don't have to beat up my body anymore. I had 9 surgeries through this career. And now that I found myself on this side of it, Peyton Manning won his last game, and I called him. As soon as I called him, I said, welcome to the other side. Welcome to the other side. Because one thing I think people don't realize is it's the hours that you have to put into it. The television is just the byproduct of what's really going on. It's Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Monday, Tuesday, and you just start over year after year since I was 10 years old. And so to walk away from that game, to be able to play with my 4 sons, to be able to hug my daughters, to be able to just be around my kids and challenge them, that's the goal. And that's why I just told Beasley when I walked in here, welcome to this side, because this side is good. Absolutely. First serve, I can't thank you guys enough. I talk about philanthropy and helping people. I was that one kid. Man, I was that one kid that had that look in their eye of not knowing. I was that kid that wanted to ask my mom one day, I said, Mom, I just really want to know, like, where is Papa? Where is that push when I don't know where pushing will come from? And so as a kid, I learned something. I learned that you may not have everything that you want. I never had anything that I wanted. But my mom made doggone sure I never wanted for anything. But what I learned from And people say, what was the best advice your mama ever told you? I don't think it was advice my mother actually told me. I think it was me actually watching her. They asked me the other day, who was my hero? Who was my childhood hero growing up? I had one childhood hero, my mother. Because I saw a work ethic. I saw something in her that promised me that if I just modeled a little bit of what she had, that I will be a better person. Today, I want to challenge kids to not only dream, I want to challenge you to do something today. First Serve throws these awesome opportunities and gives in these neighborhoods where we don't have opportunities. I work in dark neighborhoods. I'm heading to a penitentiary in less than 7 days to speak to people who's given up their lives, who's done horrific crimes, and now they're in jail forever. But they still got a story. And today is about isolated greatness. Really understanding what it means to isolate greatness. I'm sitting on the beach the other day. I live right here in Boca, and I'm sitting on the beach the other day, and I'm smoking a cigar, and I'm sitting, and I'm walking to the beach. And I said to myself, I said, oh my gosh, I remember this beach. I remember I hated this beach. Because every time I got up while I was playing, I used to walk out there and say, man, I can't believe I'm about to do this. I can't believe that it's going to hurt that bad. And as I'm sitting there thinking about it, I started to introduce my kids to it. And I'm like, listen, Daddy, I figured it out. 2001, I bought a nice beach home in Florida in Boca Raton. And so I started training on the beach every day. And it changed my career. Because I found pain where most people will run from it. I found pain and I kept going back to it. Because I wanted to know what greatness felt like. University of Miami, 17 years old. I made a statement at 17 years old. Walked into UM and it wasn't about nobody else, it was about me. And I said, you know what? I might be the greatest player ever walk up out of the University of Miami. I didn't shy away from it. But the people in the freaking media, oh man, they ran with it. I got a phone call, just like me in Utah. I got a phone call from Michael Irvin. He said, that's hurricane football. That's the way hurricanes speak. And I started to understand what it meant about focusing when you really committed to saying, I want to be the greatest, not one of. Not one of. I didn't want to be put with nobody. I saw something. And that beach taught me something. That pain only lasts for a short amount of time. But if you can push through a certain level of pain, there's glory on the other side of it. But you got to be willing to endure it. Most people don't endure what pain feels like the moment they feel a pinch. That's why they go backwards. That's why so many kids choose the opposite now. Because we think we're pain-free, but we're not. Greatness is this one small thing, right? Greatness is a lot of small things done well. It's not this one big thing. I figured out school. I'll tell you how I figured out school. Very quickly. Teacher sat there one day. I'm in the 9th grade. I'm signing my autograph. In 9th grade. I haven't done my work by this time. and I'm signing my autograph. And she walks up and she says, why are you signing your autograph? I said, because one day my name is going to be famous. And she said, you really believe that? I said, absolutely. She said, well, what you going to do with school? It's a secret. Don't you ever forget this secret. She said, well, what you going to do with school? I said, repeat everything that you tell me. and that was, I'm not exaggerating. That was my secret. Playing all the way through, going through school, playing through high school, going through college, getting in the league. And the only thing you had to do was listen more than you talk. And that's what my message was. So I started downloading like a sponge. I started downloading what teachers were saying, what principals were saying, what leaders were saying. And I was like, wow, so if I can program that now that I've downloaded it, I can use that for myself. That's what took me and started to make me isolate on how lonely greatness really is. Muhammad Ali said something in a quote one time. He said, I hated every minute of training, but I said, don't quit. Suffer now and live the rest of your life as a champion. This ain't about sports. It's about life. Young men, young women, you can be anything you want to be in this world. Just make sure you got the right people around you. You show me your crowd, I'll show you your future. It's simple mathematics. But sometimes, I got kids, and now kids, sometimes they think they're smarter than parents. Like, I ain't never went through it before.
I know.
And I'm like, you got one rule. You got one rule in my house. If there's something you're going to entertain, if you don't come to me first, that's the only problem I got with you. Because with every action, there's a reaction. So you give me a certain action, I'm going to give you an action. And that's the deal. Because I'm trying to push my kids to see how simple life is. When you listen, which is knowledge, grab enough knowledge, but then the application of knowledge is wisdom. Because now you have to apply what you've heard. So I want to make this really simple for you guys, because I don't want to confuse how simple the message is for me. Then I figured out the second thing about greatness is, honestly, Beasley will agree with this, you got to be a little bit crazy. Right? you gotta be on edge a little bit. Right? You gotta be this person that people get in a room with you and they be like, what did you just say? Like, you want to do what? And then when they hear it, they question themselves, like, do I really want to hang out with this person? Like, does this guy really like this cool, or is he really cuckoo? Right? And then when you realize it ain't that you're so cuckoo, it's that you see things that they can't see. That's the beautiful part about a journey. That's the greatness about a destiny. The only person dictates your destiny is you. The only person that controls your journey. Now listen to me carefully. There will be many bumps along your journey. Many. And if you can figure out the difference between detours and distractions, you'll balance your life out way sooner than you think. Detours and distractions. Very early for me, I figured out what detours meant. I figured out what not having a father meant. I'm 41. I met my father at 33 years old. And it was the detour of my life. Because I never could figure it out. But then I thanked him. And now we're the best of friends. Because of the life he was living. If he was in my life, he would have been a distraction. That would have stopped me from what I was trying to do. So I started to go a little bit crazy. To crave what it meant to be great. Not great just on a football field. I graduated with a 3.6. I went back and told Mama, if I leave college, I promise you, what she told me, my mama hands heavy. When she hit you, your soul will hurt. And you just pause for a minute.
Soul hurt.
And you know it's coming back with a number 2. So you got to be ready to go. Right? And then I said, I think now I know. 11 years old, 1986. I was sitting on a curb. And I had heard a rumor that my father was coming in town. And I was actually going to get to see my father for the first time. And interesting enough, I sat on this curb, and my mom, she worked 3 jobs, so she was never really home, so I always had to take care of my brothers and sisters. And as I'm sitting on this curb, my mom pulls up. And she says to me, she says, "What are you doing?" I said, "Mom, I just heard my daddy coming. I'm going to sit on this curb. I'm not moving." She said, "Your dad ain't coming, Junior. Get up." I said, "Mom, I'm not moving now. I'm not moving. I'm going to sit right here." And she said, "Junior, okay, I'll be back." She left, came back 2 hours later. "Junior, he ain't coming. Get up." So, "Mom, nah, he gonna come." "Junior, get up. He's not coming." "Mom, he gonna come." 11 o'clock at night, 2 days before Christmas. He never shows up. This drove me crazy. I took a deck of cards and I went to my garage because that's where I had to live. I couldn't live in the house with my stepfather. Too much testosterone, I wasn't his blood, so that was his rules. And I took this deck of cards and I opened them and I flipped it, and a 6 came up, and I done 6 push-ups. And an 8 came up, and I done 8 push-ups. A jack, queen, king came up, I done another 10. An ace come up, I do 25. A joker comes up, I do 50. And I finished the entire deck, reshuffled, and started all over again. And I got to a point to when I was going back and forth from push-ups to sit-ups, I had reached the number, be right at about 2,500 push-ups at the time, 2,500 sit-ups at the time. I'm 11. But I remember what the pain felt like in my stomach for not having my father. And it drove me insane to be great. So I did go a little crazy. I went a little crazy because now I wanted to be, one day become the man that honors my 4 kings and 2 queens. 3 in college. 3 left. 16 months left and they all graduated. They go start their lives. So my craziness that everybody saw on the football field only lasted for a minute. And everybody else's eyes. Because for me, it was my #1 motivation to watch my father's picture on the front of this magazine and see all of these records he had. And my motivation the rest of my life was to break every one of them. Did I do it? I absolutely did it. But I wouldn't challenge a lot of people to do it the way I did it. Because the way I did it, I was in pain for many years of my life. I used to deal with the word hate a lot. Then I started to understand that greatness is also reflective. You have to understand, if you want to do something, finish it. If you start anything in life, finish it. But the good book says, write the vision and make it plain. See, that's where the small piece of life that we've let go. Right? Social media is so fast now. Everything, I can tweet this, I can tweet that, I can do everything I want to do on social media. But the only thing that will really be personal to you is the things that you actually physically write yourself. Because then that's a contract between you and you. I'm not a big computer person. But I tell you what I do got. And the the top of my closet right now, when my kids one day sit down up under this fireplace and see all the things that Daddy wrote down, I want them to see how many times I failed. Because I failed more times than I succeeded. I missed more tackles than I made. I shot the wrong gap more times than I hit. But then I started reflecting. And then I said, well, how is it if I'm a young lady, if I'm a young man, and I'm supposed to do great things, why do I have to hurt so much? Then God introduced himself to me in a voice. And from that day, my life was totally given to God. To understand how reflective you have to be with greatness. Kids, take your messages and don't spend a lot of time. Write this down for the next 30 days. Write down how much time you spend on your vision and how much time you spend on social media. And it might shock yourself. Because that's the difference. There's a difference between good and great. Good is fitting in. Great is fitting out. Number 4, the difference maker to all these things we're talking about is your attitude. Wow. I was never picked. Listen, this is what's so amazing. I was never picked as a starter. From high school, from college, from the pros, I was never picked as the starter. Never. But my attitude, you want to go to the bathroom? Go there to the bathroom. So respectful. I saw my baby cross them legs. You know, once you get that pinch, you gotta go. You gotta go. And so it's really interesting because the difference maker was my attitude. I live by 5 P's. Proper preparation prevents poor performances. Proper preparation prevents poor performances. So I always prepared for the challenge, whether it was going to come or not. And the difference between the great ones and the ones that come in second is attitude. 100%. Nothing changes. You can give me the same athlete, put them side by side. The only thing that makes Usain Bolt as dominant as he is his attitude. The only thing that makes Michael Phelps as dominant as he is his attitude. We just getting off the phone. Me and him just getting off the phone just now. And we're just going back and forth. And the one thing we started talking about, I told him I was on the way to do a speaking. And the one thing we was talking about, bro, you got to tell them about our attitude. Our attitude. We don't settle for second. There's no such thing as second in my life. Right? God is first. Everything else, I put where I want to put it. That's my order. I want you to understand this. If you don't like something, change it. Right? But if you can't change it, then change your attitude. That's what happened when I'm sitting in there getting ready to play my first game. And I'm like, man, I think I'm better. I know I'm better than this guy. But I don't get to start now. So my attitude changed. So you know what I started doing? And it followed me my entire career. I started beating everybody to the football. I was like, okay, maybe I'm not the strongest, maybe I'm not the fastest, not the biggest. But it's the one ingredient that no coach can implement, no teacher, no mother or father. Nobody can dictate your effort. Effort is between you and you. And the everybody else effort was my attitude. That's it. Because I wanted to one day stand here and be able to look somebody in the eye and tell you, you will make it. You are on your way out. You won't be like everybody else. Daily management is something else to write down, kids. Take the next 30 days, and I want you to daily jot down your management of your attitude. I mean, I want you to really write this down and see what affects you. See how music really bothers your mind. And see what type of music bothers your mind. After my 9th year, I wouldn't listen to nothing else but pure sounds in my ears. Because I was about to go sacrifice my body, never knowing the outcome. So my mind had to be at peace. But one of the things I think my kids are missing, that I crave my kids to feel, you must understand what it feels like to have nothing. Because when you have nothing, then it's all on you. Take a lot of these things, right? Take a few of them and do this for me. Don't listen to me and follow my path. Listen to me from this standpoint. I studied enough smart people. I found myself around smarter people. And when I started to sit down, they used to always say, "Why are you so quiet?" Now, if you know me, you know I'm not quiet. But what I started to realize was, it was things I didn't know. And that if I listen long enough, I will finally get it. And so now I can walk in any meeting. I can sit with anybody. And I promise you, you'll never know if I'm a part of the conversation or not. Because I'm a 100% soaking every bit of it up like a sponge. You know, we're in a different time now, right? Because now everything is really, it goes against us. Because now we're always distracted. Give you one of the greatest distractions ever, right? There's a chemical, kids, understand this, research this. There's a chemical in your brain. It's called dopamine, right? Every time a text message goes off, this chemical flies high. It's out of the roof. It's almost come through your head, right? But it's the same chemical that happens when you try drugs, when you try alcohol, when you gamble. Same chemical. So ask yourself this question. Me and my kids got a deal. At 10 o'clock p.m. every night, when you come in my house and I pay the bills, I need your phones on my dresser. Why? Why? Because anybody that you need to talk to after 10 p.m., I promise they better be paying your bills. You can't. I want to give you guys something, man, that you can run with. You cannot buy attitude. You can't buy it. You got to live it. You got to live it. And today is about one thing. Leaving here a better person than you walked. That's what today is about. That's what this whole event is about. It's to take kids where there's no vision and give them hope. Right? I have a huge event coming up. Ironically enough, April 22nd. So I remembered your date. So I won't be able to come to your event. God darn it. But it's all about what everybody is doing here. It's called A Mother's Cry. And I took over this organization.
Sorry.
Oh, wow. And so now, April 22nd, I'm honoring 30 mothers. I'll have about 275 up under the business right now. But you know the one thing that they all have in common? That every mother has in common? That they've lost a child to senseless violence. And nobody can explain that. Nobody can explain how many times they have to walk by these rooms that echo their kids calling for mama and daddy. And they know for a fact, he ain't coming back. She ain't coming back. That's the opportunity that each one of you have to be that change, to be that different, to be that child that I live. I'm going to raise my hand first because I live for one reason. Outside of pleasing God, I live to make my mother smile. Everything I've ever did. When I came out of that tunnel, I knew one thing. Mama's somewhere watching. Which means I don't know what coming off the field means. I'm going to leave everything I got. But I'll leave you with some principles today. This is for every kid that's in that really challenge yourself to do what most of your friends probably won't do. Just do the right thing. That's how simple life really is, right? But then let me help you. Let me put a little more context in it. If I told you that I could give you $100,000 right now, but then if I came back and told you I can put a degree on the opposite side of that, which one would you take? You take the degree, right? Why? Come on, talk to me. It's okay. Absolutely. Absolutely. Great question. Can you give her a hand? The long run. Because in life, the only investment that matters is the long-term investment. It's the only investment that matters. Not what you went through. I did my meditation today, right? I meditate a lot. Calm my mind down, right? Well, y'all kids need to meditate. But I meditate a lot to calm down. And my meditation today was letting go. Letting go. Yeah, don't let the suit fool you. And think I got money. I ain't got that money. I think he got money. But it's what I was letting go. And what I was letting go was memories of things that's blocking where I'm trying to go. That's what I think I want to leave with you guys today. Let go of anything that doesn't directly help you every single day of your life. And write down everything that you know helps you. Now, when you get really real with yourself, you then got to write down songs that you can no longer listen to. TV shows that you can't watch. Because whatever the mind does, whatever the mind, that dopamine, whenever it skyrockets up, whatever you're doing, you will become addicted to it. It's a fact. You can't run from it. So I became addicted to success. I became addicted to inspiration. I became addicted to hope. I became addicted to love. I became addicted to God. But more importantly, I became addicted to loving my neighbor as myself. That's who I am. And that's who each and every one of you guys have the ability to be. Every person in this room is here for one reason. To make sure you have a future, you have a future, you have a future, you have a future. I'll leave you with this. What separates the best from the worst? From the rest? It's attitude, right? What type of attitude do you have to have if you're nameless? Like if you're nameless, right? They introduced me, right? My name is what? Yeah. Household name. People say. Right? Oh, stop it, B. Stop it, B. I got on the wrong shoes to slide. You can slide off this stage. But what was interesting about my name, which is why I was so crazy, why I've always been a little bit pissed off, right? I said a quote years ago, right? That I'm pissed off for greatness, right? Like you got to be pissed off for it. It hurts so bad sometimes. And I asked my mom one day when I was in 11th grade, remember this, because this will change your life. I said, Mom, why don't my name match up with everybody else's name? I said, why I don't have the same last name as everybody else? My sister's got a different last name. They got grandma's last name. Why I don't have grandma's last name? She said, you sure you want to know that story? I said, yeah, I need to know the story right now, Mom. I didn't talk to her like that, but yeah. So the tone was way lower, way lower. You know, my mom was like, oh, she's like, and I said, Mom, I really want to know. She said, Junior, she said, when you was in the incubator, I had you at 15 years old. She said, when you was in the incubator, I called your father. And I said, you have a son. He hung up the phone. I had no name to put you in. She said, so I called a friend who was in the military, whose name was Ray Lewis. And she said, I asked him, would you come do me a favor? Would you come sign as my son's father? Ray Lewis came and signed as my father. I met Ray Lewis in 11th grade, and I shook his hand, and I promised him, I said, Mr. Lewis, I promise to make your name great. Thank you.